Now, sometimes I get criticized as being anti-public schools, and I can tell you it's not true at all. And people say, well, if you do that, then you're going to destroy public schools in Arkansas, and I say exactly the opposite. We're going to have the best public schools in Arkansas we've ever had. Because that is, as Hunter mentioned a moment ago, it's competition. All of you know that you get a superior quality and product from a competitive environment than you do from a forced monopoly. Our public schools right now are essentially locked into a government-mandated monopoly. Give them the opportunity to compete. Let them compete. 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette published a story that we have 587 failing schools in Arkansas. Now, they don't call them that anymore. They're called needs improvement. But let me tell you what happens. In a competitive free market economy, which is where public education can be, if you have a school that's succeeding and doing a great job, and doing a great job of educating kids, what's going to happen to that school? It's going to grow. It's going to get stronger and bigger and better, hopefully better. And if you have a school that's failing, what's going to happen to that school in the free market economy? It's going to change. It's going to change. And it's either going to get better or it's going to go away. And guess what? It's got to get better or it's got to go away. And I believe that if you give a school a choice of getting better or going away, that 99% of the time they're going to get better. But guess what you just did? You just dramatically improved public school education in Arkansas. And let me tell you the other side of this. Education remains the most effective vehicle for social and financial mobility that our state offers. And if some of you know, you can come travel with me and I will take you to communities in Arkansas where we have abject poverty. And a lot of it's because we have our kids trapped in failing public schools and the parents don't have a choice. And that's because, not because there's not a choice of another school, it's because they do not have the economic resources to choose another school. And I believe we must give every parent in Arkansas the equal opportunity and the equal liberty to rescue their children from failing public schools if needed and put them in the very best schools they can find in their communities. And I think if we'll do that, I think we're going to see schools, good schools and private schools and charter schools start to crop up all over the state. The third thing is a principle, and that is we say we give our students a free public education, free K-12 education. Those of you who pay property taxes will argue with that, whether it's free education. That's another subject. But we say we give our children free education K-12. But let me tell you, we must never allow our state nor our society to assume that because the state gives our kids a free education, that parents are obligated to mortgage the rights they have to their children in return for a free education. We must protect the rights of parents to control the education. Let teachers teach, let parents choose, and by the way, in my opinion, those are two sides of the same coin. Third, we've got to let schools live. So what are you talking about? Did you know that we're closing some of the best schools in the state of Arkansas? It's called Act 60. Back in 2004, the Arkansas State Legislature passed a statute that became Act 60. And basically it requires that any public school that falls below a population of 350 students for 2 consecutive years must be either consolidated or closed. Since then, we've consolidated more than 118 schools and we've closed more than 81 schools. In the process, we have closed some of the very best schools in the state. And one of my favorite illustrations is the little school in Weiner, Arkansas, W-E-I-N-E-R. I just love the name of that. I just like to say that. It's up near Jonesboro, Weiner, Arkansas. We closed, the State Department of Education closed that school last year. Let me tell you about Weiner, Arkansas. They had a smart board in every classroom in their school. Their ratio of computers to students was 1-to-1. Every student in Weiner School had a computer. Their oldest building was about 10 years old. They had more than $1 million in the bank, and they consistently produced the highest ACT and SAT, I lost it in a second, SAT scores of any school in the state, and we closed that school last year for no other reason than they fell below a population of 350 students. Now, parents in that district tell me that they have kids that get on the school bus at 5:30 in the morning and get off the school bus at 5:30 in the evening. That's what we're doing to our kids. But I'm going to take a step back and let me give you just quickly a bigger picture of the greater concern. Folks, if you step back and look at this, you have to agree, I think, that we're destroying rural Arkansas and rural America. We're closing our rural schools. Obamacare, hospital administrators tell me that Obamacare will close our rural hospitals. And I ask how many of that is, and they say 80% of our hospitals are considered to be rural hospitals. And we have regulators like the EPA that are destroying our family farms because they're creating regulations and standards that no small family can possibly afford to meet, like having a spill container for, if you have fuel on your farm, you have to have a spill containment equal to a commercial service station. Can't afford it. And you can't, nor can you drive your tractor to town every time you want to run out of, fuel. I was speaking in Paragould a few weeks ago, Northeast Arkansas, heart of agriculture country, and this guy raised his hand, and he said, Mr. Coleman, I want to know, what are you going to do for agriculture? And I said, well, the first thing I'm going to do is fight like the dickens to get the regulators off your back. And he smiled and he said, I work for the EPA. And I said, let me rephrase my answer. I said, I'm going to work like the dickens to get you off the back of our farms. Well, he's a Coleman supporter. After the meeting, had a great time after the meeting. He said, I'm going to support you. You got my vote. Tell me what you want me to do. And he went on to tell me, he said, Curtis, if we enforce every EPA regulation that applies to agriculture in Arkansas, not one farmer could raise one crop. We're destroying the rural culture of our country and of our state, which I think all of you would agree is the very backbone of our country and our nation. So we got to let good schools live. I've already proposed that we repeal Act 60 and at least replace it. And hey, if we're going to close schools, let's do it for some other criteria than population. Let's do it for performance or something, but not population. And fourth and finally, we've got to let our students succeed.